Alright, in this video we're checking out the Eachine LAL5 or LAL5. You can see from the color scheme here with the gold motors and these purple TPU arm bumpers, the purple and gold theme. I think they're actually kind of, I guess, referencing the Lakers, the LA Lakers perhaps. Not sure about that, but if you're an NBA fan, you know that LAL stands for LA Lakers as the abbreviation for it, and whenever you're looking up box scores. So I'm thinking that's kind of where that's coming from. This obviously this gold is a different kind of gold. I think it's more of a yellow for the Lakers color theme, but these motors are super nice. LAL5 2507. I think these are 1850 kV motors, obviously running on 6S. You can see from the design of the motor, it kind of looks like the SIC 2207 motor that I reviewed a little while ago, but this is obviously a bigger version, 2507 instead of 2207, much wider stator, and you can see the windings there, big copper windings, very smooth bearings. I have a feeling this is made in the same factory as all the other iFlight motors, and it's just another variant with this really interesting gold-plated color scheme here. I'm not sure how long that's going to stay clean. You can see it's picking up fingerprints already, nice and shiny, but very power hungry, amp hungry, so you're going to need a really big battery. It has a crap load of power and will sag your battery big time. I did try to use a 1000 milliamp hour 6S LiPo. This is not big enough. You need something bigger, but your space is kind of limited on top here. You can also run the battery on the bottom if you want. Got slots here for the battery strap on the bottom and a hole there to run the battery strap through, so you could possibly run it under a bigger battery underneath versus on top. But yeah, I mean, it's obviously made for freestyle, so you kind of want the battery on top. So maybe you can get to like a 1300 6S. I think my flight time was under 3 minutes and wasn't pushing it too hard because I was noticing lots of battery voltage sag, so something to keep in mind. Anyway, that's the power system. You got 50 amp 32-bit ESC. This is a 30 by 30 stack, so it's BLE32 G-Shot 1200, and 50 amps bursting to 60 amps. Yeah, these motors might be able to draw that much power. I'm not sure. I didn't see any current sensor readings in the OSD from my recollection. The flight controller is an F4 flight controller with a Bluetooth radio on there for the connection to the SpeedyBee app, and I did review that flight controller earlier. This is what it looks like. I'll link that video down in the description. You can see the Bluetooth antenna right there. So you can connect to this flight controller via your smartphone and configure it in the field and with the SpeedyBee app. So go check out that video if you want to see how that's done, or you can just use a traditional USB port. You have a half-sized video transmitter board there, 25 to 800 milliwatts power switchable. I think it uses smart audio. I'm not going to remember exactly, but yeah, it's connected to VTX remote control. And your camera is the Caddx Tarsier. They have the two Tarsier boards in the back here, tucked in the back on a 20 by 20 mount on the bottom plates. So that's pretty cool. And then you got your camera in the front there, this TPU mount, and ND8 filter. Suppose you could maybe get a GoPro mount on here too, but then you know you're compromising space for your battery. So yeah, not sure if that's such a good idea, but yeah, the video is pretty good out of the Tarsier. You'll see that at the end of the video. The frame here is 225 millimeters motor to motor, 158 millimeters front to back and side to side, so it's a true X frame. 5 millimeter thick arms, and they're replaceable. Pretty skinny though, as you can see, but this is a pretty stiff frame. And you see you got your arm protector here, so the motors are pretty well protected. In crashes you shouldn't have too many issues there. The only thing that I don't like here is that these motor wires are, you can see there's no slack in these motor wires, so if an arm breaks, these motor wires are going to pull the pads right off the ESC. As you can see right there, there's no slack in the motor wires. So told Eachine about that already. Hopefully they'll fix that for customer versions later. I think this is an early prototype version, so it's not completely final yet. The other thing I don't like is this TPU part in the back. I don't like the antennas to be so close to the frame. I would rather have it further out, so that's another thing I wish they could change. And then these antenna tubes here were not included. I think they should be. They have the TPU part has the holes for them for your antennas to come through, but they don't provide the tubes. So that's something else that I've also given them feedback to fix. Hopefully they'll provide that in later versions. But those are pretty much all that I can remember that I would change on this guy. Out of the box, standard Betaflight, I think it was like 3.5 something, maybe. Gosh, I don't remember exactly the version. All I remember was looking at the PIDs, and they look like stock Betaflight PIDs, but I figured it might need some tuning, but I didn't tune it at all. You'll see it flies perfectly fine out of the box on the default PIDs, which kind of means it was built pretty good and has good motors and good ESCs. Typically, when you have a product and requires a lot of tuning, then usually something's deficient, something's wrong, like with the props or the motor or the ESC, and then you need to tweak the Betaflight PIDs to compensate for those deficiencies. This one doesn't seem to have that, so flies perfectly fine out of the box with default PIDs, and get high resolution video. Yeah, FPV Camera. I've done a video review on that already. I'll link that down in the description as well. Does come with a battery pad for your gripping your battery, and a spare in the box. Does not come with a receiver, it's plug and play, so I did have to add an XM Plus receiver there. It does come with a little plug there and servo lead for your receiver. I just cut that off and soldered on an XM Plus and then ran the antennas out the tubes here. That's pretty much it. Setup was minimal. Just bound the receiver, connected up the receiver, bound it, and set my aux channels, or I guess for the or modes for the transmitter, so for arming, that kind of thing, and that's it. I'm going to go ahead and flew it, charge up the battery, and that's the flight you're going to see. So I don't know, it's an interesting product. It's usually you don't see the HD camera down here. It is kind of low, so you'll see the props in view, so I have kind of mixed feelings about that. But if you're one that doesn't care about that, you are flying through the analog camera, of course, on the RCA, so which is a great camera. So if you just happen to want to get also some HD video of your flight and don't want a lot of extra weight, this is not a bad option in that case. I think this is going to fit that kind of scenario for someone that doesn't really want to carry a GoPro around, but they would prefer, high quality analog FPV feed, and then just want to have some HD footage for sharing on Instagram or whatever. That this could be something that might work out for that. And it's a pretty nice build, nice and clean. Other than the fact that these motor wires need to have a little bit of slack in them, everything else I can't really complain too much about. The carbon's nice and clean, all the cuts are nice and good. Just a few things that I pointed out that I would change, but other than that, not too bad. But let me give you the weight of this before I forget. I'll wind up the video here. It's not light. These motors are heavy, so this is coming in at 420 grams. So keep in mind you're not going to be carrying a GoPro on this one. When the 6S battery I used happens to a 165.8 grams, and then if you put them together, it's coming in at 585 grams. So yeah, kind of heavy for a 5-inch, but keep in mind these are not 2207 or 2208 motors. These are 2507 motors. So yeah, these are much bigger and heavier, so that's where a lot of the extra weight's going to be coming from, and you're not carrying a GoPro around. Plenty of power. Actually, I think it's kind of overkill for a 5-inch in my opinion, but I swear to God, there's going to be comments down in the comment section saying that this is not enough power. There's always going to be someone that's going to want more power. They're going to want a 2510 or I don't know, whatever else is bigger out there on a 5-inch. I think a 2507 is probably the maximum I'd even consider on a 5-inch. Anything bigger than that, just not even a chance. But 22.8's plenty for a 5-inch freestyle, I think, in my opinion. And then 2507, something like this is probably better suited for a 7-inch in my opinion. But anyway, got here on a 5-inch. If you want lots of power, you got it, but you're going to need some really good 6S batteries in this guy. Anyway, here's the flight footage, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Looks like I've got some kind of dirt or something on the lens. Yeah, but these 2507 motors have a lot of power, it looks like. Oh yeah. I think we're just running default Betaflight PIDs here, so there's really no tune on here at all. I don't see any oscillations. Pretty smooth. I'm running a 1000 milliamp hour 6S LiPo. Not sure how much flight time I'm going to get. I would probably recommend a little bit bigger battery, maybe a 1300 6S. You can see I'm already running my voltage down pretty low. Haven't been flying too long. This is a beast. It's got a lot of power. Yeah, I'm already at 3.7 volts per cell. Not the greatest battery in the world, but flight time's pretty short. Got good control. I'm getting a lot of breakup in the video because I think where the antenna is kind of low near the frame. So when I'm pointed like this, I get pretty decent picture, but when it's away from me, not so much. Yeah. The low throttle floating is pretty locked in. I think these motors are pretty good. Trying to get some prop wash to come out. Really can't. Let's see what the 4K video looks like, or the HD video. Almost at the end. It's going to land at 3.5 volts per cell. And I think the current meter is accurate. It says 950 milliamp hours and 1000 milliamp hour battery. So yeah, it's dead now. So bringing it in. Not bad at all. Let me know what you guys think in the comments.